So number 21, if I can fit it in the recording window. So number 21 is Anthony plotted a point P 2, 5 on the coordinate grid as shown below. So he has this Cartesian coordinate grid. He plots the point 2, 5 over 2 up 5, and Anthony graphed the line Q on the same coordinate grid. Line Q contains point P. The y-intercept of line Q is the point with the coordinate 0, 4. So there's going to be a line going through 2, 5, and it's going to go through the point 0, 4. So there's a line going kind of like this, kind of this way. And I've already plotted it in this little graph. And if you can see, it goes through the point 0, 4 and contains the point 2, 5. So your line looks something like that. So part A of this question says, what is the slope of line Q? Show or explain how you got your answer. Well, the slope, if you look close, let me zoom in a little bit and bring this up and over. Alright, so the slope, if you look close, for every one up you go 1, 2 spaces over. But I've outlined in red, just in case you miscounted something, you would go up 1, 2 spaces. So the rise here would be 2, and the run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say you didn't see that this line crossed an intersection right here, and you accidentally went up 2 and then over 4. Well, that's no problem, because when you go to plot the slope or figure out what the slope is, remember in our equation y equals mx plus b, the slope is the m part. Since it's the rise over the run, and that equals 2 over 4, well, the fraction 2 over 4 just reduces to 1 over 2. So for every 1 space this rises, it goes over 2 spaces. So let's zoom back out, bring this back over, and come down. So part B says, write an equation of line and show or explain how you got your answer, got your equation. So just recall that the slope-intercept form of line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. And from the graph you can tell, and they also tell you, like right here, y is the intercept of line Q. So y-intercept of line Q is the point 0, 4. So the y-intercept is just 4, and the slope we already figured out. So now all we have to do is fill in the spaces. If the y-intercept is 4 and the slope is 1 over 2, then what you're going to do is just replace this m with 4. I'm going to do that right now. And, oh, whoops, put that in the wrong place. Put that 4 where the b is, and you put the 1 over 2 right over where the m used to be, and that's going to be your equation of the line, or line Q. Here, let me just box that in for you to let you know that that's the answer right there. Alright, next question. Anthony also graphed a line N on the same coordinate grid. Line N contains point P and is perpendicular to line Q. Perpendicular. Remember that perpendicular means it meets this line Q, the new line he plotted, line N, meets line Q at a 90-degree angle. And you have to recall that the slope of any perpendicular line is the negative reciprocal of the original slope. So the negative reciprocal of 1 over 2, let me actually try to select this, undo that, undo that. The negative reciprocal I've done in red here. So our new slope for line N is going to be negative 2 over 1. Remember, the negative reciprocal. That means you change the sign. If it was a negative here, it would become positive. And then whatever the fraction is, you just flip it. So what is the slope of line N? Show or explain how you got your answer. Well, here's the slope of line N. And I already explained how I got my answer. Just write that in a sentence form and you got the answer for part C. And part D says write an equation of line N. Show or explain how you got your answer. Well, you do have your new slope here, but you don't have this part B, right? But if you look at the graph, right? Let me blow this up so you get a clearer idea of how I got that line. Well, the slope of the perpendicular line is negative 2 over 1. And since it's negative 2, instead of rising, you're going to sink down 2 spaces and then go over 1. So if you look at this, and remember that line N also contains point P. So I'm going to start from point P. So if I look at point P and go down 1, 2 spaces, I'm sinking 2 because it's negative 2, and then go over 1. That's how I get my perpendicular line. If I draw that right, I'll find out what the y-intercept is, right? It intercepts the y-axis at 0, 9, right? This is the point 0, 9. So my B part of the equation, my y-intercept is going to equal 9. This part is going to be 9. So let's see if I zoom out a little bit and bring this up. Let me cut and paste some stuff here. My y-intercept is going to be 9, and my slope is negative 2 over 1. So let me copy that, paste it, bring it down. So all I'm going to do is replace the m with 2 over 1, or negative 2 over 1, and I'm going to replace this b with 9. So your new equation is going to look something like this. Right? And that is the equation of line N, or the equation of the perpendicular line. Alright? So on to the next problem.